this time period, okay, the archer is at the peak of effectiveness, with the exception that now both sides have archers. When we were at our best, we were fighting the French, because the French never really figured out that if you don't ride straight at the archer, you don't die. So they would let us set up, and then they would charge right at us, and we would shoot at them, and then they would all fall down. And then we would have tea, and they would get back on the horses, they would ride right at us, and we would shoot at them, and they'd all fall down. And eventually there weren't any more of them, and we'd all pick up and go home. Right? In this time period, both sides have archers, because it's the English fighting the English. This is the War of the Roses. And we would march out there, we would shoot each other, we'd all fall down, and then they would fight. Right? So, one of the things that comes up often when we talk about this is how could somebody like me kill somebody like that with one of these? Well, it's because this bow, the modern bow that most of us shoot, and this little arrow, are very different in size, weight, and capability of the bows in that time. So this bow, by the way, if you're going to string your bow, don't put your leg through it like this. It's the wrong way to do it. You're going to break the bottom limb. You should be putting the bow into your instep, pushing the string out into the notch, or the nock as it's called. Okay. And so we get that strung up, we put the arrow on here. Now, this bow pulls at about 45 pounds. Back then, what did a person's bow pull? Whatever they could pull. But the ones that we found today would be indicating of somewhere between 90 pounds and upwards of 180 pounds. There is a guy in England right now who shoots a 205-pound bow. Right? So imagine 4 of this bow strapped together. And then this is a modern hunting arrow with a little target tip on the end. It's a little bigger than a 1/4 inch in diameter. Theirs were a 1/2 inch in diameter and weighed a 1/4 pound. They had a 9-inch spike of steel on the end. And so if you put 4 of these bows together and 2 to 3 of these arrows together and shoot it at that armor, it penetrates 4 to 5 inches. Show us. The other thing is there are 8 to 10 of us on the field for every one of them. And archers in the time period, there's a reason they do this. The quiver hasn't really been invented yet, the kind that you see on the back in the Robin Hood films. They'd actually put their arrows on the ground like this, because after I shot that arrow, I drop my bow by my side, put the arrow straight into the string, pick it up and shoot. I don't have to keep pulling out of the back and fiddling with it and getting all in the string, so you've got them right in front of you where they're easy to reach. It's estimated that people could get off upwards of 15 to 20 arrows per minute, and 2,000 archers on the field. So you do the math, how many arrows are in the air at a time?
A lot.
And the current tests show that if one of these arrows hits a knight, even if it doesn't penetrate, if it hits him in the helmet, it hits hard enough to concuss him or snap his neck. So I don't actually have to penetrate his armor to kill him. And then of course there's thousands of pounds of horse flesh, because when that falls down, so does the knight.
I'd rather get hit in the head with a 1/4 pound of cheese.
Right. If the knight did get to me, I was in trouble. If I was alone. But with 8 of me, we're actually hoping that they get to me. Because if I can take the knight out, I've got ransom. Okay, what would happen is we'd knock him down, trip him, push him to the ground, pin his arms down, because he's definitely a better fighter than we are. Then I would take my long dagger, I would stick this in his visor, like that, and I would ask him to surrender. Okay. Now if he surrenders, I get ransom. If he doesn't surrender, I'm not going to fool around. I'm going to punch this through his visor, and I'm going to take his armor and sell that. So one way or the other, I'm making some money. So we love to see the knights coming. Now, if they do get me, though, they don't ransom me because I'm worthless. Okay, when it comes to money, there's no money in taking a peasant or a yeoman hostage. So he's going to kill me out of hand. Right, so
I'm going to use my sword. I'm not going to use my hand.
Right, well.
Bad humor runs like a river here.
Ready to go for a guess.
One more bout? Before you guys die?